Imagine walking into a room and feeling every pair of eyes on you. Not because you shouted, not because you demanded it, but because you exist in a way they can't ignore. People lean in without realizing it. They watch your every move, wondering how someone can carry themselves so effortlessly, so dangerously confident. The air bends around you. Every step, every glance, every small gesture becomes a story they can't look away from. Your chaos and calm, power and mystery, all rolled into one. And yet, they don't even know what to call it. Commanding attention without saying a word. It's a strange kind of power, isn't it? People think they need to be loud, flashy, loud-mouthed to be noticed. But real attention, the kind that sticks, doesn't come from shouting. It comes from being. You walk into a room and suddenly the air changes. People feel it before they see it, before their brains even process what's happening. Their eyes wander, drawn without permission. They sense something in you that they can't name, can't explain, can't put their finger on. And that's where the magic begins. You don't have to speak. Your body, your energy, your very existence becomes a statement. A slow, deliberate movement, a glance that lingers just long enough, a posture that radiates control. These are the things that make people turn, lean forward, watch, wonder. You don't give them answers. You let them drown in questions about you. People are addicted to it without knowing why. They can't look away because the world is used to the predictable, the ordinary, the safe. And then there's you. Different, unpredictable, dangerous in your calmness. Commanding attention is about understanding that your silence, your stillness, is louder than any words they could ever hear. You don't need to perform. The performance is in existing with conviction, in holding yourself like the center of gravity itself bends toward you. There's a rhythm to it, a cadence that they can't resist. Every small action, how you walk, how you tilt your head, the timing of your smile, the intensity of your gaze, is deliberate chaos wrapped in elegance. And people notice, even if they pretend they don't. Their minds whisper, "Who is this? What are they thinking?" And that curiosity fuels the attention. It grows like wildfire because humans are wired to seek meaning, to seek stories, to be drawn into mystery. You become the story they can't stop reading. Commanding attention isn't about being the loudest in the room. It's about making the room itself feel like it revolves around you. People feel it in their bones, in the tension that twists the air, in the way their pulse quickens without reason. They are observers in your orbit, helpless, powerless to stop themselves from watching. And you don't need to explain yourself. You don't need to justify your existence. The moment you stop seeking validation, that's when the real gravity pulls them in. Attention becomes a byproduct of the aura you emit, the unspoken authority in your presence. You walk with intention, you occupy space without apology, and the world notices. It's subtle, it's dangerous, it's addictive. They think they're just seeing you, but really, they're being pulled into your orbit, dancing to the rhythm of your unseen influence, caught in the pull of something they can't name, something they can't resist, something only you control. Energy attracts curiosity. It's not something you can fake, no matter how many masks you wear or smiles you force. People are drawn not to what you say, but to how you exist. There's a current around you, subtle yet undeniable, a vibration that pulses through the room the moment you step in. Some call it charisma. Some call it madness. But really, it's just raw, unfiltered energy, the kind that can't be ignored. You feel it in the way you move, in the way your eyes catch the light, in the rhythm of your steps. It's not flashy, it's not performative. It doesn't scream. It hums, it resonates. It calls attention like a whisper that refuses to be silenced. And people notice. They lean in, they watch, they try to figure out what it is, but the closer they get, the less they understand. That's the beauty of energy. It's magnetic and chaotic all at once. People are instinctively curious about what they cannot define, An energy like yours is a riddle they can't solve. You don't need words, because the way you carry yourself, the way you inhabit your own presence, is louder than any sentence could ever be. There's power in it, dangerous power. It can make people uneasy, make them question themselves, make them ache to understand you. That's when curiosity turns into obsession. They want to know your story, your motives, your thoughts, but you give nothing. You reveal only what you choose, and even then, it's enough to pull them deeper into your orbit. Energy is contagious, invisible yet palpable. When you move with conviction, when your laughter echoes with truth rather than pretense, when your gaze lingers in ways that feel intentional yet impossible to pin down, people can't help but be drawn in. They feel it, even if they don't understand why, and it spreads. The energy you emit, the vibration you carry ripples outward, touching everyone who comes near. They start talking about it, whispering about it, wondering how someone can hold such presence without trying. Some will admire it, some will fear it, some will want to imitate it, but none can resist it. That's the danger and the thrill of having energy that attracts curiosity. It doesn't ask for permission. It demands notice. It's subtle manipulation, a game played without words, where everyone else becomes a pawn willingly caught in the gravity of your force. And the irony is that the more they chase to understand, the more you remain elusive, untouchable, unpredictable. Your energy doesn't just draw attention. It captivates. It entangles. It creates a tension they can't release. People are addicts to the sensation of someone like you existing in their space. Like a spark in the darkness they can't look away from. They sense that you're alive in ways that make ordinary life feel stagnant, dull, lifeless. They are pulled to the flame, knowing it could burn them, yet unable to resist stepping closer. And the closer they get, the more they crave it. You become the question they can't answer, the mystery that haunts their mind long after you've left the room. Energy attracts curiosity because humans are drawn to life that vibrates louder than their own, to chaos that makes them feel alive, to presence that defies explanation, to a force they cannot contain or ignore. You don't create it artificially. You cultivate it through how you move, how you exist, how you let the world feel your pulse without ever asking for attention. And in that, you are unstoppable, irresistible, unforgettable. Confidence is magnetic. It's not the fake kind people wear like masks, plastered on for social media or applause. It's the deep, unshakable kind, the one that seeps from your bones and infects the air around you. You don't announce it. You don't parade it. You exist in a way that commands notice, and the world can't help but lean in. Confidence is dangerous because it makes people uncomfortable. It forces them to confront their own insecurities, their own doubts, their own smallness, and they can't look away. There's a rhythm to it, a silent music in how you move, in how you speak, or sometimes in how you don't speak. A glance held too long, a smirk that teases but never gives answers, a posture that radiates control. It's all a signal that you are unafraid, untouchable, untamed. People are instinctively drawn to it, like moths circling a flame, captivated by the energy they don't fully understand. Confidence doesn't ask for permission. It takes its place in the room, in the conversation, in the minds of everyone watching. And here's the real trick: the more effortless it seems, the more lethal it becomes. Because they think it's simple, they think they could replicate it, they think they could understand it. But it's not simple. It's carved from silence, from patience, from the refusal to bow to expectation, from the willingness to own every inch of yourself without apology. The magnetic pull of confidence lies in its authenticity. People feel it in their gut, in the twitch of their attention, in the nervous fascination that grips them when you enter a space. They can't look away because confidence doesn't scream. It whispers with power, and it lingers. Even when you leave, the room still hums with the echo of your presence. Confidence is contagious too, dangerous in how it spreads. When you carry yourself with undeniable certainty, others can't help but reflect it, mimic it, crave it. They want a piece of it, even if they'd never admit it aloud. And some fear it. Some resent it. Some try to tear it down, to belittle it, because real confidence exposes weakness like a mirror in their face. But that fear only fuels the magnetism, only intensifies the pull, only deepens the fascination. You don't have to chase approval. You don't have to explain, justify, or defend. Confidence exists beyond their comprehension. It is quiet, steady, relentless. You move through life like a storm contained in calm, and people are powerless to resist the force of it. Every decision you make, every word you choose, every pause you take, it all screams certainty. It screams dominance over self and space without ever needing to fight for it. And that's what makes it magnetic. It's a silent chaos that bends perception, twists attention, reshapes desire. People notice not because they want to, but because they can't help themselves. The strongest forms of influence, the ones that linger long after the moment has passed, are not loud or flashy. They are confident, calculated, unyielding. And in the presence of someone who moves like that, the world doesn't just watch. It leans, it strains, it hungers, it trembles just slightly at the edges, unable to pull its gaze away from a force it can't contain. Confidence doesn't beg. Confidence doesn't negotiate. Confidence owns, and in that ownership, it becomes an irresistible gravity that draws everyone into orbit around it. Presence shapes perception. It's a simple truth, yet people spend their entire lives trying to understand it, to mimic it, to manufacture it, and they fail. Because presence isn't something you put on, it's something you are. It's the weight of your existence pressing into the world, bending attention toward you without effort, without ceremony. The moment you step into a space, the air shifts, almost imperceptibly, but everyone feels it. People look around, trying to anchor themselves, trying to figure out why their senses betray them, why their focus keeps snapping back to you. It's not about charm. It's not about words. Presence is a silent force, a vibration that moves through rooms, through minds, through hearts, and it shapes how people see everything around it. When you hold yourself with deliberate intention, when your movements, your gestures, your glance are all precise yet unforced, people perceive you as larger than life. They think you're confident, powerful, untouchable. But the truth is, presence doesn't lie. It exposes your control over yourself, and that control is magnetic, dangerous, addictive. Every small detail contributes. The way you tilt your head, the timing of your step, the cadence of your breath. All of it tells a story louder than any words ever could. And the beauty of it is, people don't realize they're being shaped, that their perception is no longer their own. They're being pulled, nudged, steered by the gravity of your existence. Presence creates a frame around you, a lens through which the world is filtered. People see your influence before they see you. They sense it before they acknowledge it, and by the time their rational minds catch up, it's too late. They're hooked. It's a kind of quiet domination, subtle, undetectable, and irresistible, and perception is everything. People will interpret your silence as wisdom, your stillness as confidence, your unpredictability as genius. You don't need to prove it, don't need to explain it. Presence does all the work. It forces attention, commands respect, and even incites envy. People respond to presence like a living thing. They lean into it, they mirror it, they chase it, they fear it. And in that response, your influence grows without effort, without struggle, without visible force. The way you carry yourself, the way you exist in moments, in spaces, becomes the narrative. People will talk, they will judge, they will speculate, and every reaction only reinforces the power of your presence. Presence shapes perception because humans are wired to notice, to prioritize, to react to force, energy, and command, even if it's quiet, even if it's subtle. The world orients itself around you without realizing it, and every glance, every whisper, Every unconscious mimicry cements your influence. You don't need permission to exist this way. You don't need validation. The mere act of being fully yourself, fully embodied, fully alive, fully aware, changes how people see everything, changes how they feel, changes how they move. And that is dangerous, intoxicating, irresistible. Presence doesn't ask to be acknowledged. It demands it, not through words or actions, but through the undeniable gravity of what you are. People are drawn, captivated, ensnared, all because your presence defines the reality around you. It's subtle manipulation, but so natural, so organic, so entirely unresistible, that they never even notice they're being guided. They see the world through the lens of your existence, filtered by the magnetism of your being, and every interaction, every observation, every fleeting thought of you is shaped by that invisible, irresistible force. Small gestures leave big impressions. People always underestimate them, thinking only grand acts, loud words, or dramatic moves can change the way they are seen. But that's where they're wrong. It's in the tiny, almost invisible details where true power hides. The tilt of a head, a slow blink, a pause just long enough to make someone feel the weight of your attention. People notice these things even when they pretend they don't. They register them deep in their subconscious, in a place they can't control, a place that whispers, "Something about this person isn't ordinary." And that whisper grows, twisting curiosity into fascination, fascination into obsession. A subtle smile that doesn't give away too much, a hand that lingers a fraction longer than expected, the way your eyes scan a room as if you already know every secret in it. These small gestures speak louder than any shout, louder than any performance, louder than any attempt at forced charm. You don't have to explain them. Their meaning is felt, not understood. People respond instinctively. They mirror your movements without realizing it. They lean in without permission. They wonder why they feel so pulled, so drawn, so unsettled. And that's where the real fun begins. Small gestures are dangerous because they suggest mastery without effort, control without announcement, intention without transparency. They are chaos wrapped in elegance, an invisible code that only the perceptive can read, and yet everyone feels its effect. Timing matters. A glance that lands just a beat too late or a hand that moves just slightly off rhythm can ignite curiosity, spark tension, and leave someone thinking about you long after the room empties. People can't stop replaying these small moments in their minds, trying to decode what they mean, trying to grasp the logic behind the magic they felt but cannot name. And you watch them, almost amused, knowing they're caught in your orbit, without ever realizing how deep the pull goes. The smallest choices in presence compound into an influence that feels larger than life. A tilt of the head becomes a signature. A pause in speech becomes a mark of command. A fleeting touch becomes a memory they can't shake. It's in these moments that attention transforms into fixation, that respect becomes awe, that curiosity turns into hunger. People don't just notice you. They are shaped by the nuances of your behavior, often unconsciously, always irrevocably. Small gestures are the hidden language of power, a code that the world is too slow, too clumsy, too distracted to see, but can't escape feeling. And the beauty is that it doesn't require volume or spectacle. It only requires awareness, subtlety, and the courage to let your presence speak in ways words never could. It's dangerous because it teaches people that power doesn't have to be loud to be felt. That influence doesn't have to be announced to be undeniable. That you can bend perception with the faintest movement. Every flick of an eyelash, every soft exhale. Every tiny motion becomes a ripple in the pond of consciousness surrounding you. People feel it as tension, as intrigue, as a strange excitement that they can't rationalize. And it clings to them, shaping how they remember you, how they interpret your every future move, how they unconsciously chase the moments they can't stop thinking about. That's the art of small gestures. They are invisible, yet indelible, subtle, yet unavoidable, fleeting, yet eternal in the memory they leave behind. It's a game played in shadows, in the corners of perception, and you are the only one who knows the rules, who moves with the rhythm of a world that bends around your slightest action, and everyone else is just along for the ride, powerless to resist the pull of what they barely understand. Mystery amplifies influence. People are obsessed with what they cannot understand, and that's where your true power lies. You don't have to be loud, flashy, or overbearing. You only need to be unpredictable. When others think they've figured you out, when they believe they've mapped your thoughts, your moods, your intentions, they are already behind, already captivated, already ensnared in the game you've been playing, without even showing your hand. Mystery is a trap disguised as freedom. It pulls people in, makes them lean closer, makes them strain to see what's just out of reach, what they cannot name, what they cannot claim. You become the question they can't answer, the riddle they can't solve, the shadow at the edge of their vision that keeps them awake at night wondering, imagining longing. And it doesn't matter if they're curious, fearful, or envious. They are hooked, and that hook is irreversible. You let them fill in the blanks, and in doing so, they project all sorts of stories onto you, all sorts of power, all sorts of brilliance, all sorts of danger. Mystery is deceptive because it makes them do the work for you. They chase, they analyze, they dissect, they theorize, and every theory, every assumption, every whispered thought only magnifies your presence, only deepens your influence, only strengthens the gravitational pull you've quietly set in motion. You never have to explain yourself. Explanation is weakness. The less they know, the more they wonder, the more they notice, the more they admire, the more they fear. And fear, combined with fascination, is irresistible. People are wired to seek patterns, to find meaning, to categorize, to control. When you refuse to be categorized, when you refuse to be predictable, when you refuse to be pinned down, you flip the script. You don't follow their expectations. You rewrite them, and they are helpless spectators to the unfolding chaos of your being. Every glance, every word, every movement becomes loaded with significance because they are forced to interpret it themselves. And interpretation breeds obsession. Mystery is subtle, but it is also ruthless. It doesn't announce itself. It doesn't beg for attention. It simply exists, and everyone else becomes a part of its orbit, whether they want to or not. The more you reveal, the weaker the spell becomes. The more you conceal, the stronger it grows. It's a delicate dance of presence and absence, a rhythm that people are instinctively drawn to, but cannot master. You become the unseen hand in their thoughts, the unspoken suggestion in their perceptions, the impossible answer to a question they've been asking since the moment they noticed you. And yet, you don't manipulate overtly. You only exist as the mystery that forces their minds to chase, to hunger, to imagine possibilities that may or may not exist, that may or may not be true, but that are enough to bend reality around you. People don't just remember you. They replay you, analyze you, mythologize you. Mystery is immortal in the mind of the observer, because it cannot be contained, cannot be exhausted, cannot be fully known. The more enigmatic you are, the larger your presence feels, the heavier your influence becomes, the more impossible it is for anyone to turn away. It's a quiet domination, a secret power, a silent chaos that no one else can resist because curiosity is relentless, because fascination is unyielding, because human nature cannot tolerate the unknown without being drawn toward it, pulled, captured, enthralled, and forced to confront the intensity of a force they can never fully grasp, a force that is only you.